Hello and welcome back to Alison McWhinnie podcast, where we have conversations for business and wellbeing success. And today we're on the wellbeing side and we're talking about animal healing. And a warm introduction goes to Bev Klee, who owns two gorgeous dogs. And I recently graduated with a diploma in animal healing from the Healing Animals organisation run by the world-renowned animal healer Liz Whiter. And as part of that diploma, I needed to do some case studies. And one of Bev's dogs, Woody, was not particularly well at the time. And so I did Woody as one of my case studies, and I gave Woody healing via Zoom. So we had Daniel Lewis on an earlier podcast, mainly talking about human healing, and I thought it would be nice to include a journey regarding animal healing. So I'm obviously an animal healer and also human healer as well. Bev is also a registered healer too. So Bev, if I could hand over to you to start at the beginning of the journey with Woody and how things unfolded, and I'll chip in every now and then.
Okay, thank you. Well, last July we adopted two spaniels from a well-known dog rescue charity. It wasn't my intention to rehome any more rescue dogs because it's very sad when you have to say goodbye to them. Unbeknown to me, my son had registered with the charity and to adopt another dog, but he'd also said we'd be happy to adopt two. So we ended up with a conversation saying that two spaniels that had to go together needed adopting. I believe they'd been adopted probably during COVID, and the owners couldn't cope with them when they'd returned to work and started a family. So he went to see these spaniels, one called Woody, one called Buzz. I guess they'd been watching Toy Story, the that had homed them before. And we had fell in love with them straight away. But Woody was really, really extremely thin. And it was put down to kennel stress. And every time he ate something, he just brought it all up. He was very active. He just couldn't keep any food down. So that's how it went. That it was down to kennel stress, and if he found a settled home, he would put on weight. So after many visits to the charity to make sure that we were all suitable, we adopted them about 10 days later. And initially, Woody did put on some weight, and then we gave him the prescribed, the vet's prescription for anti-parasite and worming medication, and he was sick. And we couldn't connect it at the time. That's what it was related to. And we took him to our vet, and the vet said, "You've just adopted these dogs, take them back to the charity," which we did. And at that time, he'd put on sufficient weight that they weren't worried about him. So we thought, okay, they just still put it down to kennel stress. And also he was settling into a new home, new surroundings, people he was getting used to. And then several months later, it was time for his medication again, and which we gave him, veterinary prescribed, wasn't anything we bought from a pet shop. And oh dear, he was sick. He was so sick. To the point that he couldn't keep anything down, not even a drink of water. So we went back to the vets, and he spent a day at the vets having a drip so he could get some fluids into him. And even the vet, I think I decided then that it was medication that he was being prescribed, and the vet agreed. So after that, it was decided to put him on something totally different, and I changed his diet as well. We'd been trying to encourage him with different diets, which just doesn't seem to work. It just made him sick. So afterwards, I just cooked him chicken. I bought it from the supermarket and cooked it for him, and that suited him down to the ground. Kept all that food down. He's since had some more medication, which has suited him. But I have to say that in the between times, I know it's important that you see your vet, but as a healer, I know how important healing is for animals as well as for humans. And I remember Alison at the time was a student animal healer and needed a case study.
I did.
So I contacted Alison, and she gave both Woody and Buzz animal healing. So, and it was on Zoom, and I think it was the first time animal healing that Alison had done was on Zoom.
It was. Yeah. And also just to add that from an animal healing perspective, animal healers like to have all the dogs in the household together. Yes. Because they're part of a pack. Yes. So you wouldn't isolate Woody from Buzz for the healing session. They're there together. In fact, I can remember at one point, because we did a series of healings, didn't we?
We did, yes.
I can remember Buzz pushing Woody out the way. Do you remember that?
Yes, that's typical of Buzz. He likes the limelight, and he thinks he's the boss. But he thinks he's the boss, but he's quite an anxious dog, and thinks he's in charge. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, he's not as brave as he likes to think he is. Yes, he did push Woody out of the way, and he responded. They both responded to you, voice, wonderfully. And as time progressed, Buzz actually backed off so that Woody could have all the healing.
Yeah.
As the sessions progressed, once they'd had enough, that was it. They just disappeared off to where they wanted to be. Yeah. But I followed your directions from the start to the finished. So you were channeling the healing, and I was channeling it to Woody. And the change in him was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. He was so underweight when we first adopted him, and he was still underweight when he started being really ill. But we persevered with the healing with you, channeling it through me to him. And I think when we first adopted him, he was probably under 11 kilograms. And now he weighs 15.
Wow.
We took him to the vets a couple of weeks ago, and the vet said, I think you should stop him feeding too much. He's probably erring on the side of being overweight, because he's not big. He's not a big dog. He's quite a small little spaniel. Yeah. But I swear that healing, that energy healing, spiritual healing, whatever you want to call it, it is healing, has helped phenomenally in his health.
Fantastic. Animals are very receptive to healing, as you know.
Yes.
And one thing that we found right at the start of doing this was that it left both dogs asleep at the end of the healing session, which is very usual. Part of the healing is about relaxing the animal, because if they're in a relaxed state, the parasympathetic state, then that facilitates the body to do its own self-healing as well, puts them in the right place for it. So invariably they would fall asleep at the end of it, which was absolutely perfect. And it's amazing, you sort of think when you first start off, oh goodness, can I achieve anything over the internet via Zoom? And initially, it seems a bit of a reach, doesn't it? But it's amazing how that energy does go over the internet and can be received.
Distance healing, isn't it?
Distance healing, yeah. Just using technology, modern technology. Woody used to make me laugh because he started to recognize my voice.
You did, yes.
And so when I came onto Zoom and started talking, he would come right up to the computer and look into the computer as if to say, what was that voice again? You know?
Buzz was the same,
Yeah,
wasn't he? And he would yawn and like chill out. And
yeah.
um, he's nowhere to be seen at the moment. But Woody is fast asleep beside me right now,
Bless,
relaxed and
bless.
chilled. Um, well, they've been with us, what, 10 months now?
Yeah,
The change in them is phenomenal. And I think a lot of it has to do with all the healing that he's had. Both of them have
wonderful.
had. Yeah,
Wonderful. I think it came at just the right time, didn't it?
absolutely. Yeah,
For them. I'd like to reiterate what you said, Bev, about vets. As animal healers, we would always say to the animal guardian, you are seeing a vet. Does the vet know that I'm doing this and all this sort of thing? So, what we offer to animals for healing is never instead of a visit to the vet.
it's a complementary.
It's a complementary therapy and it's part of the whole package. And my advice would always be to a guardian, follow the advice of the vet. No, this is not instead of at all. It's really just to help the animal and give the animal as much chance as possible. And
I
also
have,
to hopefully feel more comfortable as well.
I have to say, our veterinary practice has been absolutely superb.
Yeah,
We took the dogs a couple of weeks ago just for a 6 monthly checkup, and I did think that maybe Woody might be a bit apprehensive, but he just loved the vet. He was all over her, and we went back a couple of weeks later for some dietary advice because we have a little bit of problem with Woody's diet, and Woody and Buzz just loved the nurse that we saw. His name's Christopher, and they all just love them. And the receptionists come out from behind the desk and say hello and make a fuss and give them treats. So they've obviously made their mark.
and that's really good, isn't it? Because when Woody was admitted, when he was being really, really sick and needed to stay in, I think at the time that was quite stressful for Woody because he was so keen to get home, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. When we went to collect him, he couldn't
Yeah.
wait to get out of the door.
So that is so excellent that they're now comfortable going to the vet,
Yes.
and greeting everybody. Um, Also picking up on something you said earlier, Bev, about as we progress with the healing on Zoom, Woody and Buzz would get up and go away.
Yeah.
So this can also happen during animal healing, and the animal knows when they've received sufficient healing.
Oh,
So
yes.
when they get up and walk away, we would always respect that as a healer. We would never try and capture them and bring them back. They know, right, that's wonderful. Had enough now. Thank you very much. I'm moving away. So we'd always support and respect that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And uh, Woody seems to have taken to me more than Buzz. He's by my side all the time,
Mm,
whereas Buzz likes to be with my son. Although
hmm
they have taken in the early hours of the morning to both lying on my bed, so I have little room left. But I don't mind. I don't
mm,
mind. They're happy. Uh, but I'm a strong believer as a healer. I'm a strong believer in animal healing as well.
yeah.
But
Me too, and also I would say that these results have been achieved. I've never actually met the dogs. I
no,
haven't.
I hope you will do. So I
I
hope
hope
you.
I will do soon. But at the time that we gave the healing, I'd never met your dogs in real life at all. So I was a stranger to them, and at this point I've not met them, although I know we plan to meet up. So they responded to a stranger coming through the internet at them, is the point I'm making, and responded well. It's not as though I'd had a relationship with them in any sense.
So that's where we are at the moment. The vet did recommend a different diet.
Yep.
Because I was just feeding him, cooking in the chicken, which
Yep.
suits him well. But they advised that just the chicken on its own wasn't enough
Yep.
vitamins for him. So on their advice, we're trying to change his diet a little bit, but I'm doing it very, very slowly.
And that's important. Also, I'd like to sort of add in there that with the healing, I also gave you a nutrition sheet
You did,
that had a
yes,
variety of different foods on that, included chicken.
yes,
Um, and that these are foods that are not dog food. They're things like chicken, fish, vegetables that are safe for dogs to eat. Um, but it's really key that you introduce any new food very gradually,
yeah, that's what we're doing.
very,
Yeah,
very gradually, so that if there is some kind of stomach reaction to the new food, it's kept limited. And also to help you identify which food is causing the reaction.
yeah.
Um, so it's always a very, very gradual thing, but it's amazing the range of food that a dog can eat.
Well,
Um,
Buzz seems to have a very sensitive tummy,
mhm.
whereas he will eat absolutely everything with no side effects at all.
Yeah,
But maybe Woody's just got a sensitive tummy, I suppose
yeah,
dogs do have, don't they?
yeah, that they're all different. Well, thank you for taking us on this journey of healing with your dogs. Are there any final comments you'd like to say, Bev?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you very
Oh,
much
thank you.
for all your animal healing. And I think we both channeled the healing between us.
Yeah.
Uh, and Elizabeth Whiter is just, she's a star.
Oh, she's phenomenal. She's absolutely phenomenal. Um, and she just knows so much about animal. The course that I took is just one part of her knowledge
Yes,
on
yeah,
all things animal. It's a very small part of her knowledge. Her knowledge is huge. And she's also very in tune with animals. And oh, she's absolutely phenomenal.
Shall I see if Woody will? Uh,
Shall we have a go?
Woody, hello. Want to
So
say
viewers can see him. He's a beautiful dog. Hello, Woody. Oh, isn't he gorgeous?
hello?
Hello, Woody. Woody loves his ball,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, he likes his ball. There you
There we
go.
go, Woody. There we go. In it goes.
In it goes. There you go. Say hello.
Oh, he's just so beautiful. And look at his coat. I mean,
Oh,
that is such a healthy coat.
yeah.
Oh, he's looking around at his audience.
Say hello.
Oh, thank you, Woody. Well, on
Say
that note, we'll say goodbye to everybody then. It's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from them.
bye. Take care, everybody.